Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Our speaker is ready to join within a few minutes.
Yes, sir. Your voice comes.
So let it be recorded, and whenever everybody joined, in between, let them switch on videos throughout this session, and we will take snapshots from the screen and record that continuously till vote of thanks is to be done. So I will introduce the speaker, and it will go on. Then vote of thanks will be taken care by Kunda Praveen sir.
Yes, sir.
So next quarter and other things from EC department, there are 3 representatives, faculty members. They have to arrange the inputs and other things. Myself, Principal Gar and Sri Ram Sharma Gar will be giving in consultation with senior faculty, senior professors of college, and we will arrange according to the theme to be given to EC department next 3 months. So Kunda Praveen is one member, Abhishek Reddy and Dr. K. Ashok Kumar. These 3 are responsible for IAC. It will be given officially on the letterhead also. So you have to arrange the things in consultation with the principal and overall college representatives. So today the speaker is an eminent speaker from industry as well as IEEE past chairman, Hyderabad section, and the speaker is having more than 32 years expertise in electronic circuits and this mobile phone related, and the Red Pine Signals earlier SAR has now moved to Silicon Labs as a deputy director, and he is having entrepreneurship, startups, internship, everything from his company. And Vedula Kavya, our alumni, Abhay Joshi batch, 14th or 15th batch. She is one of the internship member, and she has completed under the guidance of N. Venkatesh Garu, today's speaker. So we are waiting till now. Sir is in the international meeting. So immediately Sir puts a message, within 5 minutes he will join. So that is the scenario. So the internship startup, Sir will educate us, all the students, after completion of internship, how to make an effort to establish a startup. So we had so many recently completed BTech students in my channel. I will arrange by inviting them, both soft skills as well as hard skills, how to establish startup as a ECE event, as an innovative idea within short time for third years and second years. Don't worry. So we are here. The department is struggling and striving towards success and innovation. So all the joining students, third years as well as second years, please come forward whenever we are inviting and conducting this kind of things. So the theoretical part and the practical part of ongoing semester also we will revise innovatively. Don't worry. We are on the job, and we will guide you how to face the examinations also. So call is coming. Sir, okay. Okay. Done. Two to three. Entire IIC event. They said up to 3 o'clock, don't come.
old data, but he is saying that it is not in my hand. I think it will be talked to Praveen, that will be they will remove, sir.
I will discuss it.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Venkatesh.
1 minute, sir. Sir, you joined, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Just now joined.
Okay. Good afternoon, my dear students. Good afternoon and respected dignitaries. Sri N. Venkatesh Garu, Senior Director, Engineering Section at Silicon Labs. And we are welcoming you, sir, for this IIC-driven event, Internship at Startup. As a part of that program, the Department of ECE is organizing this theme, an awareness program. And we are inviting you. Till now, you are busy with your own scheduled meeting. We are highly thankful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation. And our faculty members all are doing their level best to educate the students in terms of internship, industry visits, startups, and mini projects and major projects. And now curriculum is going on. Within 20 days, it will be wind up. And next semester is going to start instead of June. We are starting in November due to exams and other COVID situation. And we are welcoming you, sir. Without further delay, it is my privilege to introduce our guest speaker today. And Sri N. Venkatesh Garu is a Senior Director, Engineering at Silicon Labs, Hyderabad. Joined in March 20, though it's March 2020 acquisition of Red Pine Signals, earlier SAR was, and one of the founder in 2002. Mr. N. Venkatesh has over 35 years of engineering and management experience in wireless system design, IoT solutions, semiconductor design, and avionics also. His current areas of interest are on building semiconductor and system solution in the field of the Internet of Things. Prior to Red Pine Signals, he was general manager at California-based Paxonet Communications, developing semiconductor devices for optical and telecom networks, and prior to that at HAL, developing airborne communication systems. He is an active IEEE volunteer and was the past chair of IEEE Hyderabad section in 2019. He is a board member of TIE Hyderabad and helps foster entrepreneurship. Mr. Venkatesh holds a master's degree in electrical engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, India. He holds 22 US patents, has contributed to IEEE standards development, and has written numerous articles in technical journals. He is a fellow of the Indian National Academy of Engineering and a recipient of the Vasvik Award for Industrial Research in 2011. As on today, in IEEE Hyderabad section, Sri N. Venkatesh Garu is a chair for Entrepreneurship Development Committee. So we are welcoming you, sir, for our Mathrusri Engineering College ECE department. It is a college event. On behalf of the college, I am welcoming you to this August gathering awareness program on internship at startup. Over to Venkatesh Garu.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Dr. Srinivas. The audience is all students, right? From which year are they?
Third year and second year, that is fourth semester and sixth semester of engineering ECE,
Sure.
plus faculty members all are with 10 years expertise in various VLSI, ECE, VLSI and communications, WSN, etc., etc.
Sure. And have the students been introduced to the concept of entrepreneurship already?
Earlier it is introduced partially.
Okay. Yep. All right. So no problem there. I mean, my talk today is not going to be specific to electronics or communications. It is going to be general on what is a startup, how is it different from other companies. And as a student, if you take up an internship in a startup, what is it that you will learn? And before that, I wanted to cover some of the concepts of what a startup is. So I will share my screen so that I can show my presentation. 1 minute. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Very good. And I will pause for some time in the middle. I will, so that if people have questions, they can ask. As Professor Srinivas Rao said, I am working in Silicon Labs, which is a US company with offices around the world. In Hyderabad, we have a large office, around 280 people are there now, and we are planning to expand to 500 in the next 1 or 2 years. Most of them are electronics engineers. Some of them are computer science engineers. And we work in the area of wireless semiconductor chips for the IoT market. And wireless is not only Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is a part of it. We also do Zigbee, Thread, Bluetooth, Z-Wave, and many other protocols. We also make MCU chips, microcontroller chips, without wireless also. And we have, thousands of customers around the world whom we develop the products for, and we also support them from our Hyderabad office. Okay, so we are talking about startups, and Mathrusri is setting up an innovator cell. Now there is a lot of, sometimes there's a question about what is innovation and what is entrepreneurship. Now, innovation is trying to do something new, solve a problem in a way it has not been solved earlier. And entrepreneurship is the way you convert that into a business. There are many definitions of entrepreneurship. Some people say entrepreneurship is pursuing your dreams, being your own boss, and so on. Okay, but the definition that I like to use is the entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunities without regard to resources you currently control. That means that you can be an entrepreneur without having any money. You can always raise money. You can even be an entrepreneur without having an idea. You can always get somebody into your company who has the idea. An entrepreneur can be somebody who creates a product in the electronics field without being an electronics engineer also. But entrepreneur needs the drive and the energy and the passion to pursue that and have the resourcefulness to bring whatever is needed so that the company can succeed. So anyone can be an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship is to start something, but the ultimate aim is to make some revenue or get some returns out of it. So that part is called business. What is business? A company can exist. A company can exist without doing any business also. However, companies cannot prosper without doing business. And the definition of business is, say, selling something, doing a service, exchanging goods and services. But the definition that we want to use is the business is creating, delivering, and receiving value. So what you are giving to somebody is not a product. You are giving something that is valuable to somebody. If you create a stone sculpture, very nice sculpture, and then you give it to someone, and that someone has no use for it, then it is not a product. Your business is not to make something and give it to somebody and ask money for it. You have to make something that is valuable to somebody. That means somebody can use it and do something out of it. It can be that he can run, he can say cook his food with it, or he can travel in it, like if it is a bike or a car, or he can just enjoy it. If it is a beautiful painting, he can just sit and enjoy it. So he gets some value out of it. So you have to deliver something that is valuable to somebody. How you are creating it is part of your business. How you are creating it efficiently is part of your business. How you're delivering it is part of your business. And how you receive the value back. That means that what do you value? Maybe you value money. So the customer gives you back money. So this cycle, if you look at an example, is what business is. Here you have somebody who is making some dosas. He is delivering it as a product to his customers. So the customers find value in it because it satisfies their hunger and they have a good time. Then the customers give value back to the business, and that value is currently money. Okay, so it always has to close a cycle. Okay, so remember that what you have to do is something should be valuable to somebody else. And today, you know, Startup India is having a lot of thrust from the government. They are actually giving a lot of benefits. There are innovation programs for students. Mathrusri is also trying to, I think, take part in that. There is a lot of funds given. Like I said, you don't need money to start a startup. You will get funds from various sources. The government is trying many ways in which the startups can be fostered. And organizations such as IEEE are also trying to help. Like in our IEEE Hyderabad section, we have this entrepreneurship and startup committee, and we are ready to help students, startups, people with entrepreneurship ideas. We are ready to help incubators, giving some inputs, because you know IEEE is composed of volunteers, and many of the volunteers are very highly experienced, and they are offering their services purely on a voluntary basis. So all of you who are thinking of starting something, even while in college, you can pursue your idea. You can join IEEE and get some benefits. Another organization that helps is called TIE in Hyderabad. IEEE, is offering help both in technical areas as well as entrepreneurship. TIE is purely an entrepreneurship help. It's again a volunteer-driven organization. Everybody works for free, and they're ready to help anyone who has entrepreneurship thoughts. But you have to join IEEE or you have to join TIE for doing that, paying the small annual fee that is required. So business, okay, you can think of some big plans. So you know that if you, in India, we used to have 5-year plans. If you'll go to, for example, okay, Bharat Heavy Electrical or ECIL or any of the large companies, you will find that they have a plan for till 2025. Some of them have planned till 2030. So large companies have long-term plans. So when they say that, yes, I want to make a new product, then they spend 2-3 years in doing the R&D, 2-3 years in trying to get the market research done and everything. That is how large companies do it. Unfortunately, startups don't have the resources to spend that much time in doing all the planning. So they tend to start earlier. So their business model, which, you know, in a company, if you want to make a business, suppose you have, okay, Mahindra is trying to bring out a new SUV called XUV 700. Then you know that last 3-4 years they have been planning it. They would spend 2 years making a business plan. There will be like a 1,000-page document. There'll be so many people reviewing it and so on. But startups can't afford to do that. So they do something called a lean startup. That means that they make a minimum amount of planning, good amount of research and market validation. And sometimes they make something called a minimum viable product. That means a product without all the features, but is sufficient enough for customers to buy and give the feedback. And they also do agile development. That means that agile means being able to change very quickly. So they can their plans can change very quickly. They can do incremental improvements, that little by little, rather than everything together. And they should be ready to pivot. Pivot means change direction. So if something they find is not having the best interest in the market, they should be able to quickly modify it so that they can start making it more interesting. Okay, so the startup is in many ways different from an established company. And that is why when students go and join a startup as an intern, they will find an experience which is different. And when you join a startup, I will talk about the differences later on, but what we want you to learn is something about the company itself, something about the business, something about the product. But more importantly, the entire business plan of the startup, you can try and understand. And if you are wanting to start a startup also, you also should think of these following points. The first point, the very first point, of course, which I have not written here, or point number 0, is what is the product? Okay, do you want to solve a problem, for example, for people who have to know whether what is the weather going to be today, and therefore whether they should carry an umbrella, whether they should wear a sweater, okay, whether they should wear sun protection. Okay, maybe you can create a small product that will be there next to the door. There, that product will say, I mean, if it is green light, it means that, I mean, everything is fine. If it is red, that means you need to carry an umbrella. If it is some other color, it means that it might actually be a little bit windy or chilly. It's an idea. Okay, so when before you're going out, you can look at it. Now, if you want to sell such a product, you know that you're an engineer, so you know how to make it. You know that you can put humidity sensor, temperature sensor, then you can write some software, then you can glow some LEDs, and then you can even send an SMS to somebody's phone, whatever, right? So as an engineering wise, you are able to make the product. But now to make it a successful business, to sell it in thousands and thousands, what do you have to do? So you have to look at many aspects. One of them is called customer segments. For whom are we creating the value? What type of customers do we have? Who are our most important customers? For example, is our customer students? If you are creating a nice app for sharing notes, one of the student groups, school student groups, okay, recently had a business idea called Note Finder, which is that, okay, you can share notes, your seniors can share notes with you, and so on, through the app. So everybody logs in, and then somebody says, I'm looking for, say, notes on thermodynamics, and somebody says, yes, here it is, and so on. So, so there, if you are creating such a product, your customer is a student. In our case, okay, if you are creating a small device that will keep, that will tell you whether to carry an umbrella or not, it is mainly for people who are going to office or commuting every day. It's not for people who are probably, I mean, staying at home and working. It's also probably not for people who are going by car, because then people who are going by car doesn't bother too much about whether it's raining or not. Maybe it is meant for people who are going by two-wheeler or people who are going by public transport. So your customer segment will be all working people who travel by public transport or travel by two-wheeler. So now you know who is your customer. That is a very important point in startups. If you know who is your customer, then you can think like your customer, and then your product or service can be tailored to make it attractive or make it valuable for that customer. So you can make some products for people who are owning houses. Your products can be specifically for tall people. You can make products for governments or sports people, smartphone users, which means everybody these days, and so on. Okay, so in the startup, you should try and understand what is the customer segment they are trying to address. The next is the value proposition. You already know that you are making certain product, but what is the value that customers get out of it? Is it solving one of the customer's problems, or is it satisfying one of his needs? Okay. For example, the Note Finder product is solving a customer's need for getting information which is written in a way that is understandable to him. Okay. The student may not understand the kind of English that may be there in some of the textbooks, but if his senior has written some notes in a language with which he can understand, then it is likely that the junior can also understand the same language. So the value that the customer gets is the ability to understand concepts more easily by reading those notes. In the case of the device that tells you whether it's going to rain or not, the value that the customer gets is the freedom from worrying that, oh, it's starting to rain, so how will I go? It gives him peace of mind, it gives him safety. Okay, so whenever it is weather is not very good, okay, I mean, he can be safer. So it is not a product you are trying to sell, it is something that has an impact on your customer. So you need to know who is your customer, and you need to know what is the impact or what is the value. Okay, for example, some products, the value is connecting with friends, you know, like Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp and so on. That is a product. The value we get is to connect with other people. Hot tasty dosas are a product, but eating something that is very satisfying or satisfying hunger is the value. Okay, and so on. So all of these, okay, are what we have to decide. What is it? Okay, are you selling burglar alarm? No, you are selling security of the home from theft. You're not selling burglar alarm. You are selling security, okay, which the customer is getting. Another thing, so while working in the startup, you have to look at that also. Next, okay, what are the channels through which you sell and educate your customers? How does your customer know that you have such a product? Are you advertising on Facebook, Instagram, Google Ads, or are you advertising on TV? So that is a channel through which you are making customers aware. Then having made them aware, you have to sell it. So how do you deliver it? Are you selling it to them directly? Do you do it through Amazon? Do you open a retail shop? Or are you having distributors? All of these are called channels. So channel is for sending information about your product and service and receiving feedback back. And a channel is for delivering the product or service to the customer. So you should understand what channels the startup is using for their particular product. Then we have to look at how profitable something is. So how do you learn about how profitable something is? You have to do two things. First, what is that you are spending? What is your cost model? What are the different costs in the business? What do we have to pay for and how much? What are the key resources and what key activities are most expensive? So when you look at cost model, the different parameters, you might pay money for raw material. Like the person making dosas, he has to pay money for rice and urad dal and oil and salt and so on. So he definitely has to pay for that. You may have to pay for rent if he is taking up a shop. You may have to pay a salary if he is employing somebody. If you are doing some technology product, maybe you have to buy some software or license some software. If you use Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, you know that you have to pay license fee to Microsoft. Or you may have to pay for transportation because you have to deliver something, pick it up and so on. And you have to pay for taxes also. So like this, you can list down all the points where money is going out. Okay. So if somebody is creating a business for, let us say, electrical repair at home, just like Urban Clap, then or Urban Company. So you have to pay salaries, you have to pay for training the person properly in terms of safety. You may have to pay for uniforms. You may have to pay for having a website and an app, and you may have to pay for, using some partners for getting some other products and tools. So all of these are your costs. Then to get money in, you can get it from many sources. This is called the revenue model. Revenue is what comes in. So firstly, what is that value for which your customers are willing to pay? You have to define that. My customers are willing to pay for safely going home, okay, when they finish their work in the office. So that is the value. And that is the value which Metro or Uber or Ola or any of them deliver. And how much do they pay currently? So, and how much should we price our product? Even though you are providing an innovative service, already people are going home from office. So they may be paying for something in some other way. Maybe you are doing it better. So, but you need to know how much people are spending for that, getting that value today. Okay. Sometimes, okay, very rarely we can say that the customer is never having this value. This is totally unique. But for example, if you're saying that today there is no product in the market which will grow a red LED to remind somebody that he has to carry an umbrella, you may say that there is no alternative. There's nothing. But it is true that the customer may look at the sky, he may look at weather report on TV, he may read newspaper, okay, or he may even listen to the radio, which will tell whether weather is raining or not. So always he is doing something in getting the same value in a different way. But how much do they pay for it? You have to understand that. And that gives you an idea how much you should price your product. The price of the product is only to some extent related to the cost of manufacture. The price of the product is actually mainly governed by the value that people get. And if they get more value, they pay more money. Okay? So that's where we have to define and do it. And what are the other ways we can get revenue from? You know that if you have a website, you can put ads on your website, and if somebody clicks the ad, you get a percentage of it. So apart from selling the product, you can also get money from other ways. You can do ad clicks, you can do franchising. For example, if you created a very nice, okay, so suppose you create a nice Chinese restaurant called Matrusri Manchurian or something, and everybody likes it. Oh, I can go to MM restaurant to have Chinese food. And MM restaurant taste becomes very, very attractive. People like to go there. So you can expand. You can expand by putting one more restaurant, maybe in some other area, Dilshuk Nagar or something, or you can franchise it. You can say, okay, to somebody, yes, you can use my name. You can sell these products only, and this is the recipe for making it. But for everything that you sell, you have to give me so much. That's called a franchising model. So you don't, now, without you investing in that, somebody else is investing. Now you're getting some money out. Okay? Or you can get commission from partners. So you can say that, yes, I will sell this for you. Okay, if I succeed in getting some customer, you pay me some money. Okay, so you can actually see, I'm selling this particular, say, Manchurian. But along with this Manchurian, I will also sell Coca-Cola. So you pay me some money because I will not keep Pepsi in my shop. I'll keep only Coca-Cola. Okay, so that means that you're creating a partnership with Coca-Cola, and then you are getting some commission out of that. Okay, so you need to understand the revenue model of how the startup is doing his work. And customer relationships, very important. You have to get some customers, you have to keep them customers. How do they contact customers? How do they explain them what is going on? After customer buys a product, how is the startup supporting the customer? Are there any special ways? For example, okay, if you buy Hero Honda, you will have a Hero Honda service mela. So then even though, okay, customer can go and repair his Hero Honda in any shop, now he goes back to him. So then the company knows about the customer, your customer feels happy that, okay, I mean, Hero Honda is giving me free service and so on. So customer relationships are also important. You can find out how the startup is doing it. Then you have to learn about the market size and the opportunity. How big is the market? How many users? How much are they paying? So what is it that your market can be? If you are making that electronics gadget which will tell whether it's going to rain or not, how many people do you think will buy it? Okay, how many people? We already decided that if Hyderabad has got, okay, I mean 80 lakhs people, that means that maybe it has 2 lakh households. In how many households are people going for work in public transport or by scooter or motorcycle? Maybe out of the 2 lakh households, maybe some 40,000, 50,000. So if 50,000 customers are going by public transport or this one, maybe you can sell 50,000 in Hyderabad if all of them decide to buy, but all of them may not decide to buy. Maybe, I mean, maybe only, okay, I mean, half of them will decide to buy. So now you can get an understanding that what is the potential market size in Hyderabad. Okay, so if it is, if this is the market we can achieve, then this is the revenue that you can get. And then you can look at other cities, okay, Chennai, Bangalore, Madras, I mean, Delhi, and so on. So you can estimate what is the market size by looking at all the parameters of what is the value that you're creating, who is your customer, and how much advantage you have compared to what they are already doing. If you're having a lot of advantage, then more people will come to your product. Less advantage, less people. So using all of that, you can find out the market size. Okay, most people, I mean, young engineers who go and work somewhere, they know that, okay, the company is making this software or is providing this software service or creating this hardware product, but they do not know what is the market, who is the customer, what is the value proposition. In big companies, they may not even tell you, but in startups, you can find out. You can talk to them and find out, and you should try to find out. Okay. And the next is key partners. Who are the partners who are needed to make that happen? For example, okay, if you are doing online selling, your partner is Amazon or Flipkart who is trying to sell for you. Or if you're on from your own website, you are trying to have people to purchase online, then your partner is a courier company which will transport the material for you. Okay. So if you are creating some organic ice cream, then your partner who is a farmer who is using organic methods to raise the fodder for his cows. So in each of these businesses, there will always be some partners who will work with you. They can be your vendors, they can be your associates or whatever. All are called partner ecosystem. So you can understand, you should try and understand who they are. Then key activities. So what is the main type of activity which is very important? Okay, for example, in a high technology startup, R&D may be very important because you need to do a lot of R&D to make a good product. Or maybe it's software development, which is very important. Or maybe it is software development using AI and ML. So that may be your key activity. Or your key activity may be marketing, because you are already, you are not creating a product, you are only trying to resell somebody's product in an innovative way. Then your key activity will become creating good marketing events to make people aware of this product. Okay, so from the startup, you should also try and understand what are the key activities. Other mundane activities are always there, right? So, I mean, keeping accounts, keeping books, okay, I mean, making project plans, and then, I mean, getting permissions from the government and so on. They are not key activities, they are required activities. So key activities are those that make a difference to the end product or the value your customer sees. then for that, what are the key resources? Is the most important thing in this company, is it R&D engineers? Is the most important thing money? For example, if you are a small bank or you are doing microfinancing, you are lending money for people who need money for an interest that they pay you, then your key resource is money. Without that money in your bank, you cannot give loans. Okay, your key resource may be actually human capital. That means that people may be very important, because your business involves face-to-face selling and interacting with customers. So you need good people. I mean, other things could be, intellectual. You may be doing an AI ML product. So you need someone who has very clear concepts of AI and ML and is able to innovate. Remember that as a CEO of a startup, he may not be the expert, but he can certainly get some experts. And those experts will then become the key resources. Examples, okay, your key resources, you may need business analytics software, because your business is to tell other companies what kind of customers they should go after. You are looking at the market today, you're finding that suddenly smart TVs are more preferred compared to non-smart TVs. So even if you are selling a non-smart TV, can you sell it along with an Amazon Fire Stick so that it can be smart? So this is learned from a lot of analytics of what is happening. So your firm may be doing business analytics, and therefore that may be a key resource. Or your product may be a face recognition door opener. That means that when you walk to your door, the face recognition camera will automatically recognize your face and open the door automatically. So if you are selling such a product, it's called a video doorbell, then the image recognition technology becomes a key resource for you. In what way is that different or better compared to competitors? So you have to invest in that. Or you may be doing some trade with other countries. So people with knowledge of multiple languages may be a key resource for you. So for you, those kind of people or those kind of resources that are very important, you will try and get the best, and you will try and pay more to retain such people, okay, with you. So you have to understand that also. Then alternatives, if not our product, then what? I already told you, what are the other ways the customers can solve the problem? If you are giving an Ola kind of business, but maybe your alternative is public transport. Okay, if you are selling a device that tells you, cricket score anytime you want, maybe your alternative is a mobile phone, which can do everything these days. Okay, and so on. So you also need to know that if you have competitors, you look at competitors. If no competitors, look at alternatives, because then your alternatives are your competitors. So when you go to a startup, you try and understand all of these so that you can understand the entire business model of the startup, and you can then contribute in any ways where you get ideas and you can contribute. And that's another main difference between established companies and startups when you're doing interns. Okay. One of the things is that the established companies have the interns working there do not have exposure to other departments, whereas in a startup they are usually have the flexibility to understand the entire set of company activities. And if you take an internship at a startup, you should definitely try and do so. Okay, so let's look at the differences. Established companies have well-established processes. That means for years and years, they have been doing something in a certain way. These are the documentation needed. These are the approvals needed. This is the way you report your daily progress, your weekly progress. This is the way you create a management report. This is the way you create a review of a process step, and so on. So you have to spend time learning that and trying to conform to that. So in general, it is very useful to learn such a set of processes, because even a startup, when it becomes bigger, it will start using those processes. In startups though, it's usually on the fly. On the fly means suddenly things can change. You can do things and next day do something different. These processes are not very rigid, because startups don't have so much time, and they have not done enough background work such that the processes will make sense. Okay, so you will find that you will be working and adapting to a lot of new situations quickly. In established companies, an intern usually will be told to investigate in depth about a small problem. So it will be a very limited problem, but the student will go deep, okay, and trying to understand, trying to analyze, trying to design, trying to implement, and trying to verify and validate something. Whereas in the startup, it is possible to have broad-based learning. That means that you may be exposed to multiple departments and multiple activities. They may not even have departments. They'll have only different activities. So I told you about those 11 different points. They will all be working on all of those. Okay. In established companies, you will get guidance from experts. The companies will take interns only after identifying a mentor. The mentor is going to guide the students. That's why it's called a mentor. But in a startup, people are very busy. They won't have that much time to teach you. So when a student goes there, they have to learn by observation. They have to see what others are doing. They have to see how they are doing things. They have to see what they are reading. And by themselves, they need to do a lot of learning, and they should be ready for that. Nobody is going to come and tell you, yes, you have to do this. Have you done it? Of course, they may ask you, have you done it? But a lot of self-motivation and self-responsibility is needed in startups. Established companies have large teams. You might be in a department of, say, 75 people. In startup, the entire company may be 7 people or 8 people. So you have to learn to be used to that. Okay. Established companies have well set up infrastructure. Everything will be there. Labs will be proper. The computers will be of course, in startups also computers will be up to date. But the infrastructure, the buildings, the facilities, everything will be very nicely available. In startups, though, okay, it's all lean. How quickly or how, what is the minimum way in which you can get a comfortable work environment, have good tools for working, okay, but the infrastructure may not be, very vast. And like I said, in established companies, your exposure to other departments may be limited. You may be working in only one area and may never even meet anyone from any other department. So if they have been telling you that, yes, I want you to do this PLL optimization, and I want you to change this and then give me the results, then for entire 1 or 2 months, you'll be doing only PLL optimization. Now that PLL may be going into one RF transceiver. That RF transceiver may be going into some other device, communication device, which may do some data link, and that data link may be used by farmers for getting data from some servers or from sensors in the field. So that PLL is a very small part. That goes into something, that goes into something, that goes into something, that becomes the business. And in an established company, you may not learn anything beyond that PLL. But in a startup, you are very likely to be exposed to all kinds of activities, and provided, of course, you are ready to take it up. So if you don't want to take up, then maybe you won't be given that opportunity. So that is also there. Then, okay, in established companies, okay, after end of two months or whatever, the internship is over. Everything is over. You hand over the project, you hand over the code, you hand over the board, whatever you've done, everything is handed over and everything is over. You get a nice certificate, and then it's all done. But once you join a startup as an intern, okay, it doesn't change. After finishing 2 months also, since you have done something, if you have done something useful, then startup will say, please keep coming. Okay, you have classes for 3 days. Can you come 2 more days with us? Yes, very good. So even while doing 3rd year, 4th year, until you get placement, whatever, as long as you want, you can keep working there. And startups would be open to that if you have proved your worth when you were there as an intern. Okay. And that is why in startups, okay, it's very good for extroverts, because being an extrovert, you can proactively talk to many people and learn all of these activities and all of these concepts properly. Established companies, even if you don't want to talk to anyone, no problem, because you're working in a small, narrow area, and you will be having a weekly progress call with your mentor. Sometimes you may be having a daily stand-up meeting, a daily or weekly, okay, but it will be limited to a small time. So it is good for these kind of things. Okay. Yeah. So this is what I had for telling you about, okay, startups, understanding the concept of startups, how they are different from big companies. And as an intern, what are all the things that you should learn when you get an internship? Okay, so I will stop sharing now, and I'll be ready for Q&A. If you have any questions, we will take that up.
Students can interact with the speaker now.
Yeah. Firstly, okay, does anyone have some idea that they want to take it forward as a company, as a startup? If you have, maybe you can describe it in 1 minute. You know that there is something called elevator pitch. Elevator pitch means you are standing in a lift with somebody, you're going to say 5th floor or 8th floor. In that 30 seconds or 40 seconds, can you catch that other person's interest by saying that this is what I'm doing? And then if the other person is interested, then he may say, yes, I'm interested. Maybe we can be partners. So if you have some idea that you want to create a startup based on, can you come and describe it in less than 1 minute so that we can understand what it is and be impressed by it? So maybe I can ask one of the faculty if any of the students have come up with an idea. Maybe you can invite one of them to speak for 1 minute.
So faculty can also interact, and students also can clarify your doubts regarding startups and internships. This screen is visible, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I can see
this. Is what we received recently, sir, on 15/4/2021. This is the Office of the Development Commissioner, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Ministry of Micro, MSME,
okay.
Government of India. They sanctioned us this proposal submitted, and it is support for entrepreneurial and managerial development of MSME through incubator.
Very good.
This was accepted, and a dialogue will be exchanged officially. Utilization of funds and other things within short time undertaking.
Excellent.
So this is for the information of audience and speaker, and we are happy to announce this incubation center. We are establishing in the Mathrusri Engineering College within 6 months from today, maximum. That is from January 2022 onwards, it will be operative.
Okay.
And we are inviting an eminent experts like you, sir. We need your help for establishing startups as well as entrepreneurship, how to run the show through IEEE channel, not only, but also as an industry expertise you are having. Yeah. We are inviting you on next 1 month. We are busy with the NAC. We are uploading today or tomorrow. By 19th, it will be completely uploaded to NAC portal, and everything is verified thoroughly, and we are expecting a good grade. It is a process of 35 days. By October Vijayadashmi, we may get success from NAC accreditation. After that, we are taking up this incubation center for the benefit of the students as well as faculty in terms of innovation through incubation center and research avenues also. That is the my submission.
Excellent, excellent. I think, I mean, yeah, I'll be happy to help. And you know, incubation is one of the ways in which great companies can have the first step. Okay.
Yes, sir. We are working on that, sir, and we are inviting from your side also on a specific day to discuss various modalities, both sides.
Sure.
And they are now constructing a 10,000 square feet area room in which we can accommodate, and we are calling that Ministry of MSME also for inaugural purpose. Before that, we are inviting industry experts for establishing startups and training.
Yep.
And we had one more skill shark, Sriram Sharma garu. The EEE department and ECE jointly signed an MOU with a Germany-based company in which the electrical vehicle will be charged. Electrical vehicle charging station, that equipment we are importing, and the electrical bus, electrical vehicle charging station similar to that of petrol.
Yep.
Like that, they are having a plan to establish a center here. As a preliminary MOU prerequisite, battery charging, car battery electrically charging, it will go up to 70 kilometers when once you charge it fully without petrol. That is completely our airport vehicle. Government of Telangana has inducted green vehicle, electric bus. Similar to that, those batteries to be charged. That station we had already here in Mathrusri. So through Skill Shark company, we agreement has been signed as an MOU between Mathrusri 3 departments as well as German-based company.
Very good.
So they have established here 5 lakhs worth equipment. Initially, we are giving training to charge a battery for a small vehicle, and there are 2 electrical rickshaws and electric bikes also there in our college, sir.
Okay.
That is one of the achievement.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay, excellent. I think maybe definitely okay. I mean, you can have other kinds of ideas also. You can continue.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And that's what I wanted to hear. Any of the students have any business idea? I want them to come and describe for half a minute or 1 minute. When we did a workshop in Vasavi College 2 years back from TIE, when we asked the student, of course, that time it was a physical meeting. It was not a virtual meeting. After whatever I had explained, more than that, we had explained about businesses and so on. And then we asked students to come and give some ideas. More than 200 students, 200 ideas were given to us. Everybody had 2-3 ideas. And they were ready to describe it. So I'm hoping in Mathrusri also we have equally good thinking and innovation. That's why I wanted to invite 1 or 2 students to come and talk about their idea.
Students, please come forward with any idea. Don't hesitate, but it should be a prototype convertible. Initially, if you are having an idea, please come forward and discuss. 2 minutes. Third year engineering students, you all are.
Do they have the unmute capability?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Some students are asking what are the courses available for internship, sir?
There are no courses for internship. Internship, whatever course you're doing, that is what it is.
Some students, they want to know how to network, communicate, and grab an internship at a startup.
Yeah, firstly, you have to find out what are the startups. If you just go for search Google for startup in Hyderabad, there are so many ways you can find. There is this Your Story, there is T-Hub, there is V-Hub, there is Telangana State Innovation Cell. Okay, all of these places, if you go, you will see the startups associated with them. So you can, once you get the name of the startup, you can go look at what they are doing. If what they are doing seems to be interesting for you, you can directly write to them. Startups do like to get interns. But the student will have to do some homework in trying to find out all the startups.
All students, please switch on video to take a snapshot along with our speaker.
Yeah. Maybe next time when I come in person, if possible, then maybe we'll have more interaction.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Please switch on videos, all students. We have to take snapshot and upload to IIC, MHRD. All students, please switch on your videos. Sir, Sharma sir, please tell about 1 minute about your Skillshark and other avenues, sir. Sir is asking, Venkatesh sir is asking.
Okay, sir. Venkatesh sir, that is a very nice session, sir.
Yep.
And very practically you have given all the inputs. Sir, is my voice audible, sir?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Sir, actually, we have established a Center of Excellence for Electric Vehicles in our campus. As sir said, mechanical, electrical, and electronics departments, part of that one, sir. So under this Center of Excellence, they are conducting training programs to faculty as well as students. And we are developing new projects, sir, innovative projects we are developing. Already we have developed one project on wireless charging for electric bicycle and smart control of the adaptive automobile. These two already published in Motor India magazine, sir. We got good appreciation from that. And another thing is, in future, once this pandemic is over and students are available in the campus, so we can do a little more innovation works under this area, sir. In the interdisciplinary area, these three branches, they work together. And recently we have conducted one STDP program, 4 weeks STDP program, electrical department, AICT sponsored, sir. Their participants from the Anna University, they are impressed by the activities that we are conducting in the under the Center of Excellence, and they got some crores of project research projects, sir, and they want to work with us in collaboration with Matharshi College as a technology transfer there. Like that, in this area, we want to do some good work to bring laurels to our institute, sir. So definitely, as you said, startups and entrepreneurs, they can come forward. That means we can find some people in this area. That's what I can say, sir.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Good to hear this. Okay. All right then.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Praveen sir.
Yes, sir.
Students are not want to discuss. You can take up with the permission of the sir and others the vote
Sure,
of
sir.
thanks.
I'll message you, sir.
Sir,
Hello.
Hello,
Yes, sir. I'll message the comments from the students to sir.
Okay. Okay.
I'll click them.
Proceed, sir. Proceed.
Sir.
Please tell what do you want, sir? Sir means what do you want? Please tell.
Sir, I have an smart.
For your benefit, at least one or two students, you come forward and talk something. You can communicate with the speaker so that it will be good to hear from you.
Please speak loudly.
Sir,
Room number 97 can speak now.
Yes.
Can speak.
Yes. Yes.
Can I explain in Telugu, sir? Can I explain in Telugu, sir?
Yes, ma. You can speak louder.
Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yep.
Sir,
In Telugu also you can speak. Go ahead.
Yep.
మ్యాప్స్ అనేవి ఉన్నాయి కదా సార్, రూట్ మ్యాప్స్ అనేవి, గూగుల్ మ్యాప్స్ అట్లా. హలో.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
కాదు సార్, ఇప్పుడు మనం ఎట్లా అంటే, ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఏరియా పోతే ఇట్లా యాక్సిడెంట్స్ అవుతాయి, ఈ ఏరియాలో యాక్సిడెంట్ ప్రోన్ ఏరియా అన్నట్టు ఒక యాప్ లెక్కనన్నా ఏమన్నా డిజైన్ చేయగలుగుతాం అన్నట్టు ఆలోచన.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, so you can look at the statistics of accidents, and then you can give inputs saying that this road is more prone to accident. Please avoid.
ఇప్పుడు జూబ్లీస్ ఏరియా, ఆ రోడ్ నెంబర్, పిల్లర్ నెంబర్ 32 సంథింగ్ ప్లేసెస్ కి డేంజర్ ప్లేసెస్ కదా సార్.
Yep.
అట్లా
Correct.
అట్లాంటి దానికి ఈ ఏరియాలో ఈ యాక్సిడెంట్ ప్రోన్ ఏరియాస్ ఇట్లా యాక్సిడెంట్స్ ఎక్కువైతే అన్నట్టు కొంచెం దాని గురించి మన యాప్ తయారు చేయాలి.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good idea. You can create an app for it. You can say that, okay, I mean, on top of Google Maps, you are going to give additional information. This may be shortest route, but it is also more accident prone route. So you can take a different one. Yes, it is a good idea. You will have to create the software for which you can overlay with Google information. You will also need feed coming from traffic police about accidents taking place, so you can keep updating your database. So there is some software work involved. You have to have partnership with traffic police so that you get updates of accident locations. You will need to have partnership with Google for the Google Map information overlay. Yeah, I mean, so these are all the different activities you'll have to do. But it's a good idea. I hope you can pursue it.
Thank you, Tagore, for asking a wonderful question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other students who have any doubts can interact with sir.
Sir, this is Shanmukh, sir, roll number 30.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am, can continue.
Sir, yesterday we seen the release of 2 brand new electric motor vehicles, sir, from Ola as well as some other companies. So we can consider this as a start for an electric revolution in vehicles, sir.
Yep.
So basically, I have an idea that is basically reusing the old motor vehicles, Activas and Access, other scooters, which are basically petrol vehicles, to convert them into EVs. Although the revolution has started, there is a huge scarcity of motors, BLDC motors, which are necessary for electrical vehicles as well as controllers. Along with the batteries, they are very scarce. I mean, and they're very much costly. This might actually delay the revolution. So starting up with this idea, keeping in mind that we can provide these raw materials like BLDC motors, electrical controllers, as well as the batteries to the vehicles, so that we can modify the old vehicles and refit them and make sure that we can salvage the old motors, so that the cost of production goes down. So the old motors in the vehicles, the petrol engines, ICE engines, can be salvaged. We can replace them, and we can make sure the motor is the vehicle is converted into an EV. So
sure. Yeah, it's a very good idea. I mean, again, like I said, okay, the key thing in most things, there will be a key activity or key resource. So in the case of the electric scooter segment, a brushless DC motor is the most important part.
Yes, sir.
Second
And
most important part is the battery, like you said. So
finding them
definitely,
is
okay, if you, although they will be doing their own research, if you have an innovative way in which you can create a better brushless DC motor, you can certainly create it and supply it to electric vehicle manufacturers. Perfectly fine. Yes.
Thank
And
you,
of course,
Shanmugh.
reusing old scooters, of course, the IC engine, of course, is not a motor. So that has to be thrown away, and then a motor has to be kept. And then battery you have to keep. So retrofitting or modifying existing petrol engines to be electric vehicles, I don't know how far it is viable. It may be better now, that government has created a new scrappage policy. So maybe you can also lobby the government that, okay, extra benefit should be given for buying electric vehicles once they have scrapped old vehicle. Right now they are giving benefit like registration fee they're waiving and road tax they're waiving. But you can also say that for environmental benefit, the government should strive to give some additional subsidy for buying electric vehicles. So then, okay, I mean, that may be a better option to do. Yeah, but you can think of all of these areas, all of these things.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Muhammad Sami from ECB.
Please switch on your videos, everyone. Those who are speaking, please.
So, actually, sir, my idea was that when our exams were there recently, I was having lots of doubts. But just like me, there were many students who was hesitant to ask the doubts to the teacher in front of them. So I just got an idea and thought that there should be an app where students can be anonymous and ask questions to the teacher, where teachers and students can collaborate with each other, and students can be anonymous so that they should not feel humiliated or feel anything embarrassing to ask the questions, and they can ask you questions easily and freely, and where the principals of the institutions, where this in the app they are interacting, so they can easily interact, and where the principals are having the powers to control the students and give regulations to them.
Sure. Okay. I mean, I think that is an idea which is already there, but you can do it, of course. Zoom, for example, allows in Zoom webinars, anonymous questions can also be asked. Precisely this reason only, that some people may not want to reveal their name. They may be more comfortable. Yes, large conferencing systems like Zoom already have this facility, but if you want to do it through an app, that is also perfectly fine. If a class is going on, that particular class can have a particular QR code. Only by knowing that code can people ask questions in the class or whatever. You can do something like that. But yes, I mean, the idea is valid and you can create a solution for it. And then you'll have to look at all of those 12, 13 areas that I mentioned to make it into a viable proposition. But yes.
Thank you, sir.
These are the ideas come from these kind of situations. When people face a difficulty, that is an opportunity for entrepreneur. Okay, all right then. I have to go now. Thanks so much, Professor Srinivas Rao and others.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And Venkatesh, sir, thank you for providing the importance of startup and what is the difference between the established company and a startup, and how startups are useful for the students and the basic level, low level starting companies. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your.
Okay. All right. All the best, everybody. And I hope to see you all in person sometime. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.